To be in the top 1% globally, how much money do you have to make annually, Cousin Tanisha?
I say 3 million.
No, it's around $32,000 a year.
Oh, okay.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big car.
What's going on, my money mavens and moolah misfits? It's me, Joe Knows Money, your host of the Money Addicts. This is not your grandpa's podcast. This is not his money show. This is Money Talk with Hot Sauce. So we got a couple of hot topics today, but before we jump into those hot topics, I got the Money Addicts crew here with me today. Cousin Tanisha, Brandy, and TT. Say hey, everybody.
Hey.
All right, so we got the crew together, and we got the crew together to talk about hot topics around money. If money touches it, we talk about it, right? So one of the big things that has been happening over about, the last 5 to 6 days have been Ebony K Williams has been going viral over and over and over again about her comment about whether or not she would date a bus driver, right? So just to bring everybody up to speed, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little clip, and then we'll talk about whether or not you would date a bus driver on the back end of this clip.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it.
If he owns the bus, that's a problem. That's a problem.
All right. All right, so here's the question. The question is it a problem? Right now, to give it some context, what they were talking about is the fact that Dr. Iyanla Vanzant was on Charlemagne and Envy's show, The Breakfast Club, and she went viral for saying that ladies are being programmed to be essentially men in skirts, right? Now, Ebony K Williams did not debate that fact. What she was saying to Dr. Iyanla Vanzant is, okay, yep, I'm a hit dog that's hollering, right? You got me. So what can I do to reposition my crown and make sure I get everything that's supposed to be coming to me? And so her question to Ebony K Williams was, would you date a bus driver? You saw her response, and then it ensued from there where Dr. Iyanla Vanzant broke down why she thought it was a problem. But before we get into that, let me see here. Cousin Tanisha, would you date a bus driver?
No.
Now, what's so funny, you were staring in the abyss just like Ebony K Williams was, right? As you were trying to think about whether or not you would date a bus driver. Now, one of the things she said, right, is that she would date a person who owned the bus, right? So before we get into that, how come you want to date a bus driver?
I'll say this first. It depends on how much a bus driver makes. If he can support our household, by all means, go for it. If he's willing to move up in the company, I'm for that too. And of course, it would be better if he owned the bus. But me personally, I just feel like I'm taking my pants off and putting my skirt back on, if that makes sense.
Okay.
To being the breadwinner in the household. So if he can keep up with the bills and the lifestyle that we live, hey, go for it.
So that's an interesting take, right? Because one of the things that Ebony K Williams said, that she kind of double and triple down on the quote unquote backlash that she got from her statement, is the fact that she said everybody made it about money, but to her it's really about Black liberation. The fact that ownership is the only way that you can truly be free in America. Now, DJ Envy called her out and said, well, wait a minute, and Charlemagne did as well, and said, well, you were talking about all the statistics in which, in 22 states or 22 metropolitan cities across America, women out-earn men, and talking about all the statistics in terms of how many Black men go to college versus Black women, so on and so forth, and how that leads to an income disparity. So she said it wasn't about money, it was about Black liberation. But for you, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're like, it depends upon the amount of money he makes, because he can own it and not be making anything.
Yeah. That's basically.
That's basically it.
I agree with those statistics, though. Totally, I agree. I feel like men today, majority of men feel like women are supposed to take care of all the finances in the household because we tend to make more money. Like I said, I paid my dues with that. The next time, if I marry or decide to cohabitate with another man, he will have to pay 100% of the bills. However, the hell he gets those funds, he just need to do it. Bus
So all
driver,
the bills. All right, so check this out. Now, Dr. Ayala Van Zant said that's the problem with humans, right? She was like, yo, everybody wants the person to come to the table and give them what they want instead of creating it together, right? So a person has to come and pay 100% of bills,
yes.
or are you willing to go 50-50?
I've had my years of paying my dues of paying 100% of bills. At least the guys I've dated, they ain't know about the 50-50 or the percentage. They shit was all wrong. So I feel like I paid my dues to men. Therefore, I'll still do my wifey duties. I'll even still work. So that, God forbid the bus break down or some shit happen, I can handle everything. But you quickly get back on your feet so you can go back to doing what you're supposed to do 100%.
So, or cousin Tanisha, you gonna make everybody else, or you gonna make the new guy pay for everybody else's sins and be like, yo, I done paid my dues, I done kicked in 100% at times, so I ain't even go 50 with you. You gotta make up that difference.
I feel like just like how men want what they want in a woman, I know what I want in a man.
Where it is.
And that's a conversation before it's not going to come by surprise. That's going to be a conversation over the course of us dating. If you can agree with that, cool. If not, we could just be friends.
All right. So essentially, cousin Tanisha said, I said what I said. So TT, Brandy, y'all agree with that?
Well, here's how I feel about it. I think all can be true. I think that men should aspire, especially black men, with the wealth and credit, we should be self-made because we're just at a big disadvantage, right? So, but as women, we do need to understand you're going to be a man who owns you. You must also support a man that owns you. And a lot of times, men who aspire to ownership of a home, a job, a business, or whatever it is, too much is much required. So as a helpmate, that might mean you have to look in and help out, right? And so, for couples that I know, it's a assignment.
All right, what you say to that, TT? Are you still ready to do 50-50? Are you ready to give up some other things so you can have all the luxuries? Where do you stand on this?
I do believe there should be a conversation in the beginning, especially while you're dating, of the expectations you have. But I understand too that life hits you, and that sometimes you're gonna have to support the other person in a relationship. So I understand that 50-50 notion of 100%. Sorry, 100%. But I don't blame her. When you've been supporting yourself for a very long time, he definitely has to come to the table. I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I love the comfortable lifestyle that I have now. I'm not wealthy, but I am pretty, solid, and I'm grateful for it. And I just want him to come equally to the table or above. And so whatever that looks like for our dating life and our household, we definitely have to talk about it. But it's how you manage the money. Nothing wrong with being a bus driver. Nothing wrong with that. However, how do you manage money?
I think we have to be honest about stop fixating on the actual bus driver and just, is that enough income for us to survive? Because at the end of the day, it's not so much what you're doing. So I guess it does matter. Is that career generating?
All right, so let's talk about that, right? So let's say you earning, or he's earning 40, you are earning 60. Combined, that's 100 grand, right? So you say, okay, well, I'm trying to get with somebody who's equal or above. Well, if he's making 40, he's not equal to your 60. But with that 40, maybe he could help you split a rent payment. Let's say you all don't own a home yet, right? And you paying the average rent in Atlanta, which is close to $2,000, right? So you pay $1,000, he pays $1,000. Both of you were used to paying $2,000 a month. So now you come together, each of you save $1,000 a month. That's just financially, right? So then at the end of the year, both of you have $12,000 a piece that you ordinarily would not have, that you can invest together to buy a business, buy a rental property. Oh, and by the way, you have more time because maybe you were used to cooking every single day of the week. Now you're alternating cooking responsibilities. So now you have time to work on your side hustle 50% more to bring in more money, right? So does that equation also put you in a better place? Or is it just merely if the person is equal or more than what you're making?
He needs to make more than me.
So it's all or nothing.
Equal is not an option.
All right,
Not
so 50% of something isn't better than 100% of nothing?
If I'm making 60, he needs to be making 70 or above.
All right, cool. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about the statistics, right? So 70 or above, right? So fun fact, just globally, right? Let's take a broad look at things. What does it take to be in the top 1% globally income-wise? What your guess be? What's your guess? 5 million, just annually. To be in the top 1% globally, how much money do you have to make annually, Cousin Tanisha?
I'll say 3 million.
No, it's around $32,000 a year.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then, so that's globally. And then if you shrink it down to the richest country in the world of the United States, what percentage of the US population makes over $30,000 a year? It's just over 50%. Mm-hmm. Right? And then how many of those people, you know, who make that amount of money meet your criteria of making over 70,000? It shrinks as you go up, as you can imagine. So just, I'll hit you with this number. If it's a black man, only 6% of black men make over $100,000 a year. 9% of white men. Now, you're shrinking your pool down further to say how many of those are straight men, right? How many of those are married versus how many are single? How many fall within your age range? How many fall within those things that you enjoy, that you share and find similarities with? How many fit your standard when it comes to looks, right? So now we just went from an ocean of possible candidates down to a teardrop, right? And then that's just money. What about height, Cousin Tanisha? You want somebody 6 feet or taller or 6 feet and under?
Definitely has to be taller than me.
All right. So does that mean you're not 6 feet, so does he have to be 6 feet or not?
Yeah, 6 feet's a good number.
Six feet is nice. Well, less than 10% of the US male population is 6 feet tall. If you want somebody over 6 feet too, you're down to 4%. You want somebody with a nice physique, maybe a six pack?
You know, love is love. You know, it don't, sometimes love is fine.
Okay. We're back down. So my point is, right, is that I get both sides, right? Because Ebony K Williams was saying, hey, I like what I like, I want what I want. And that's essentially what I hear you saying, which that's your personal preference. And who can, you know, tell you you're wrong for what you want, right? On the flip side of things, you often hear people talk about, I can't find somebody, or it's hard out here, it's this, that, and the other. you have to come to a realization, and you may be okay with those odds, but that the more of those things that we just went through that you require, the pool significantly shrinks down to almost nil, right? So then, therefore, it's not surprising. I think that's what Ayanna was saying, is that we put a premium on what somebody does or what they make. And what she also said is that, what about the fact that these, she was like, I can build with somebody. She said, now I will get a prenup to make sure what I have is secure, right? But at the same time, hey, if that person is loving, if they provide and protect, right? In other ways, then she's down with that. Cousin Tanisha, she's sticking to her guns. We went through some statistics. I was trying to say, like, hey, well, what if you can split some bills, get some wiggle room each month financially? What if, you're used to cooking all the time, and now you get to
23 minutes comfortable.
Huh?
Getting too comfortable. When it's like 50-50, it's like they kind of lose their drive. Not all men, but some do. If one comes along, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna analyze the situation, but they just get too comfortable. I'm sorry, they just do. If you come in at the jump with what you want and this is what it is, because at the end of the day, as long as we still got to work at home. While y'all watching the game with y'all feet up on the ottoman and shit, we still gotta cook, clean, take care of the kids. We still gotta be intimate and be fire as hell at it. Y'all got a lot of expectations.
Okay.
So why the hell I gotta work double time? You know what I'm saying? Making equal when you should take care of everything. So I can make sure that I'm balanced and mentally able to do everything that I need to be doing as your girlfriend, the mother of your children, your wife.
Now, what if he says, like, yo, that ain't fair, that you go to work, you come home, take care of everything. I go to work just the same. I come home and I don't take care of anything. What if he's willing to split that 50-50 with you? Roles and responsibilities, but he just ain't got it like that financially.
I don't feel like in a relationship it's ever 50-50. One of us will always have a higher percentage than the other, and 9 times out of 10, it's always the men.
All right, TT, you agree with this?
I mean, I get her point. I get it. I mean,
he asked you a yes or no question.
I'm like in the middle. I don't know. I'm Swiss right now. I really am. It just depends. It depends on the couple. It depends on where you are in life right now. So I get it. I completely get it. I would say 50-50 for me, but Tanisha's not wrong either. If that's her preference, if that's what she likes, and then she finds a man that will give her 100%, then she can have it, because that's what she wants, and you deserve it. But if I think for my relationship that I'm down for 50-50, then just depends on the person and where we're at.
What about the societal impact, right? Where it's like, yeah, you might want them to own the bus company, for example, but there's a lot of obstacles along the way, right? We know that Black men with a college degree get hired at a lower percentage than white men with a criminal record, right? We also know that Black men get paid about 30% less than their white male counterparts. We also know that Black people are denied for loans to start businesses at a higher rate than their white male counterparts who have identical credit history. And we know once you have a successful business that they still won't lend you money, right? So are we accounting for factors like that, or for other factors like the criminal incarceration rate, or all those other things where systematic racism comes into play and is impacting negatively the Black man as well as the Black woman?
Don't just sit there with your arms folded, all defeated and everything. Get your ass up and get out there and get the most of it so that we can build something and not struggle.
Well, that's what Ayala was saying. She said, I'm not talking about someone who's just at home playing video games. She's like somebody who loves to drive the bus, somebody who goes out there and work all the time. I guess my question is it not better to go through and overcome these obstacles together versus saying, hey, you go out there, overcome them all by yourself, come to the table with provisions that are far and above what I was able to go out there and get myself?
I feel like, well, I guess the question is, did we meet while he was already a bus driver?
Yes.
Okay, so even with all the statistics you just named, you're gonna let that defeat you from moving up higher? What are you gonna do to be even more successful than you are as a bus driver? You know you need more money, you need more income. If all those things are pushing you away, do you go into entrepreneurship? Like, where is your state of mind of trying to be, to make more money, to be wealthy? Are you trying to invest? Like, what are you trying to do? Because bus driver is just not it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, will it give the opportunity to explain it? Like to say, hey, you know what? After 25 years, I get a pension that's 80% of my income. I can do this, I can do that. Or it's like, hey, hello, my name is Tom Jones and I'm a bus driver. And it's like, nah.
What else you got going on? What's your business plan?
What's your 5-year plan?
What's your 5-year plan?
All right, so if I hear you all correctly, before we move on to the next hot topic, I think I can sum it up by saying,
I don't believe in dating men where I am the breadwinner.
There you go. Period.
Period. All right. Well, there it is, y'all. It's been settled. What about recently, we saw that there's some very big breadwinners in both Lamar Jackson signing a contract for $260 million over 5 years. And then Jalen Hurts, he signed a contract with the help of a black woman named Nicole Lynn, his sports agent, a contract for $255 million. We're saying, what if money is no issue? Now, are we gonna make age an issue? So if Jalen Hurts is 24 years old, would anybody date him? He's financially viable. That seems to be that'd be robbing the cradle.
Hell yeah, my age. I don't date men younger than me.
Okay.
Why?
Reason why? Why is that?
Honestly, men my age, they're just not on the same maturity level. We all know that men mature a little bit slower.
Do we?
Hell yeah, do we? What's the statistics on that?
I only have anecdotal evidence. I don't have the statistics.
Okay, we'll get back on the next one. Just jot that down. So, I preferably do not date men younger than me. I've already done men my age, not with it. I want a man that can teach me things. I need him to be wise. I want him to have more of on his list of I've been there, done that type of thing. Get a little bit more shit out his system. But younger guys, like, I don't want to take care of another kid. Like, what am I do with that?
I mean, but based upon that, first off, all right, so do men and women mature differently, right? I actually do know some information on that, and it's debatable, but past evidence has supported that maybe girls mature faster than little boys. But once you become adults, you're there, right? Where you're going to be emotionally when it comes to maturity, right? So, but based upon being able to teach you something new, show you something, been there, did that, wouldn't little Bow Wow like qualify based upon that description?
No.
No, not really? Okay. And by the way, TT, let me get you on record. Would you date somebody younger?
No.
Don't lie.
Good. All right.
Not at this time. No.
I got a bad feeling about these ladies coming on record with that.
So be careful though, because anything you say can and will be used against you, right? So that brings me up to my next story. Have anybody heard of the soccer player Achraf Hakimi and his wife, who recently filed for divorce? So let me paint the backdrop. Now let's see if your mindset changes here. Achraf Hakimi, he is a football player, soccer. That's why we may not have heard about him that much in the States. But him and his wife met when he was 19 years old, and they actually got married when he was 19 and she was 31. All right. Now he makes $1 million a year. And now he's 24 years old, 12-year difference, which means she is now 36. They have 2 children. All right. Now, roughly around 2 months ago, she filed for a divorce. Now, we don't know why she filed for divorce. It could have something to do with the fact that it's been speculated that when her and the children were on vacation, he invited a 24-year-old to the house, and she accused him of rape, essentially, forcing himself on her. And once that came out, now we don't know if she was planning on divorcing him before or after this, but she said, I'm going to file for divorce. And they went to start the preliminary proceedings, and that's when all hell broke loose, because he's supposedly worth $24 million. However, the courts ruled that she's not getting anything because he doesn't have anything. He put all his cars, jewelry, real estate, everything in his mama's name. So should he get Mama's Boy of the Year award for being smart, listening to his mama, or should he be considered trifling for, the accusations aside, because they're accusations, we don't know if it's true or not, but just, and you can include it if you want to, but is it trifling, or was he smart in saying, nah, you're not gonna get anything that you thought you were coming to get half, but all that money is in my mama's name?
If he was my son, I would have advised him to do the same. If mine was involved in why he did it. You have to protect your child out here, especially with a 12 age difference. It's like, come on now. What you trying to do? The goal these days for most women is to secure the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Ultimately secure the bag with babies, with children, right? So I've seen the hustle. Is that my type of hustle? No, but that's most women's hustle these days. So I totally get why he did that. I also believe that in a marriage, you should come and go with what you came with, unless you built something together, which a smart woman would have done that. Let's build together so that you can walk away with what you put into it. She didn't do that. So
well, now here's the thing, just to give you some additional context, because I didn't share that piece with you, is that she supposedly has a net worth of $3 million, and she has amassed a social media following of over 1 million, right? Because she kind of became this fashionista and things of that nature based upon the high profileness of their relationship. So should she just say that again?
Eba, whatever her name is, she know what she was doing. Yeah, she if anything, she should have built in the relationship with him, especially knowing that everything, or she might not have known that everything was in his mom's name, but put into his mom's name. But even still, that's something that she should do. All women, she has her own money. She just wanted a little bit more of somebody else's. But you gonna play the game, play it right. Heba, you didn't do that.
You're right. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
If anything, you take the child support that you were to receive for your children and then be done.
I think this is a life lesson for all the couples out there. Just make sure all your ducks are in a row when you get married or before you get married. So she should have known where his money. I mean, that's that dating life. That's that courtship where she needs to know, like, okay, where's your money? Oh, she should have found out that it wasn't his money. And especially when you're having children, if you have children when they're involved, you got to make sure that they're okay, that they are, they get a piece of whatever, that they're secure. So I agree with you. Well, if anything, she may have not known, but to everybody, get that education and get everything legalized and signed before you get married. You gotta figure it out.
It wasn't hitting for him not to speak up.
You gotta figure it out.
Okay, it was not hitting because he should have been running and rambling his damn mouth. So sis, it was something you got too comfortable. Or you build relationships because people run their mouth. I can't say that she couldn't have found that information out. Because me, when I do my research, I research. I'ma find out.
Okay, fair enough.
But here's the thing, right? A couple of things. When you research, you do have to have an idea of what you're looking for oftentimes, right? So just like when you Google, right? You can only get to where you want to go when you start iterating on the words and you're like, okay, this word didn't give me what I'm looking for. Let me Google this word. Let me do this combination. So this is something I don't recall. Now I've been in finance for over 20 years. I don't recall this kind of sensational storyline. Now it's not terribly uncommon for the super wealthy, although he wouldn't fall in that category, even though 24 million is a ton, but to hide their money in trust and secret trust, all of that. I think what gets it is the fact that it wasn't this elaborate hidden trust and secret this, and it was his mama, right? So you haven't seen that before, so do you know to look for it? But when I was thinking about it, I thought one or two things. Either she thought she was being smart, because it's like, well, this isn't your average individual. His salary is published, right? She knows how much he makes. So you assume it's going to him. You are getting a lifestyle that would suggest that $12 million a year is paying for it, right? But she might have not spoken up because maybe she's making $10,000 a month and he's making $1 million a month. So she's thinking like, worst comes to worst, we don't have a prenup, I'm gonna clean up and go get 50% of what he got. Let's say that's the more sinister aspect of it. Or, right, she could have just been like, hey, you know what, again, I know the money is coming in. It's not like it's a businessman where I need to see all the documents. His salary is published. I know how much he's making. So I think I'm gonna be good. Go ahead.
But what's on paper is what matters. Not Google, not the internet. What's in black and white? That's what I will need to see. And there's plenty of words and shit I could Google and don't know. But you think I ain't about to call my rich friends or call my financial advisor friends or call the nerds? We're going to talk this out. And then next thing you know, the only way it could happen is if you put it in somebody else's name. Well, whose name would that be?
So here's the thing though. A lot of people don't have this conversation. That's why, I mean, think about it. If the roles were reversed, people get extremely offended if you bring, and I know this because I work with thousands of clients throughout my career, that you raise the notion of a prenup, because that's really what you are talking about is, well, I need to know, it has to be on paper, we need to sign. That's a prenuptial agreement. Prenuptials, before you get married. However, when you bring that up, if the person without the money brings it up, he or she is a gold digger. If the person with the money brings it up, he or she is looking at the worst case scenario and going into the marriage as if it's already gonna fail, right? When people are in love, oftentimes they think that that's gonna carry everything and there's no need for those kind of discussions, right? So let's be honest there. If you were married or if you were dating a rich guy and he proposed to you, you guys are in love, you're starry-eyed, and he's like, hey, by the way, hey, take this piece of paper to the attorney, get it checked out. We got to negotiate before we get married. A lot of people don't think that's very romantic. Where do you all fall on that? Let's say before this story.
Like I said, You can leave with what you came with. I have no problem with that. But I will make sure that we are building something within our marriage so that I can make sure that me and my kids are financially stable and continue the lifestyle that whatever it is that we're living outside of the divorce. That's how I feel. I don't necessarily, you can tell me how much you make, but I need to see it in black and white.
Well, black and white is the newspaper. Black and white is the
bank statement. I need to see an account number. I need to see who's on the, I think that's fair. Why not?
Right, if he says, look, but if he says, hey, why you worried about all that? Because we can sign an agreement saying anything moving forward, but why you got to know all that? This is my money I earned before you got here.
Because people lie. People say, oh, I made 24 million. Oh, okay. You may look and act like you made 24 million. That means you ain't got the shit. Have I seen it? Nope. I need to be able to say I seen, or I need to be able to know in my mind that I've seen the 20. I need to see it. Because people lie to you into all this debt. And it's like, well, babe, I thought you made 24 million. Like, I don't understand why we are in this financial situation. And really,
are you concerned at all that that might reflect poorly and might negatively impact your relationship?
No, I just think he's being honest. Let's pull out the bank statements on both of our ends. You see how much I'm making, I see how much you're making. That's a prenup. I'll do whatever with that. I'm not pressed.
No, you need a prenup now, because you can pull it all out and things can change. Like, for example, so this is what I would tell clients all the time. The best time for you to make these money decisions is with a prenup before you get married, because chances are that's like you're never going to be more in love than you are at that point in time, right? So the chances of you being generous with one another and amicable and all of that is going to be on the front end, not on the back end when you're staring a divorce. Now, to your point, Tanisha, right? So if you're like, hey, you know what? Forget about a prenup. Long as I know you got money going in. Well, he could have showed her all of that stuff, and then after the fact, moved that money to his mama, right? And matter of fact, that's what she's saying. Now after that ruling, she is suing him still and saying, we can settle this for $11 million because she's suing him for fraud and everything else, mismanagement of the funds. She's suing him for all of that. And he's saying, nah, you can get $2 million. What y'all think?
I think when women try to squeeze and get bitter, it just makes you more and more emotional, more and more distressed. So it's better, like you were saying, get on the front end, accept the fact he don't want you no more. He done got him a new Instagram model, and it hurts, to see stuff like that. You want more money, you want vengeance.
TC, what you say about all this?
I would sign a prenup. I would do it. I'll be sure to have my lawyer look at the fine print of it all, make sure I agree with it, the clauses and everything, and make sure also with the prenup, if there is an opportunity for me to benefit from it, if he makes more, then in the beginning, I would take it. However, in the marriage, just being smart and knowing that things could go left quickly. Like you were saying, Cousin Tanisha, just build from there, figure out a game plan to make sure that you're always going to be straight. And so this is just a learning lesson from their marriage or in other marriages, just secure the bag while you're in there.
Keep trying to keep.
I love how you talk all business. Like I can't wait till you come to me when that situation happens and be like, oh, how should I breach the conversation? Because it's real easy to talk about it. But once you're in it, I'm telling you, man, people are not trying to have that conversation. So for example, TT, maybe now, right? But before this story, if someone's making $1 million a year, $1 million a month, and you're making $10,000 a month, you would be like, hey, we got to talk. We got to talk and get it on paper that I ain't going to be getting nothing once we leave. Or you going to be like, he ain't going to say nothing. I ain't saying nothing.
Right, I'm not going to say nothing.
Right.
I'm definitely not going to say nothing.
Then the same thing can happen.
You'll sign up.
The same thing can happen.
But hey,
You said the same thing can happen, or the same thing happened in this situation.
Yeah, well, both, right? Because I don't really know, right? None of us really know, but it's conceivable that I know for a fact, right? She's an actress and she wasn't making as much money as him. I know that for a fact. However, I don't know if she looked at it like, hey, if he don't say nothing, I'm not gonna say nothing. And he was 19. So you talk about maturity. Is he gonna have the maturity to be like, he may be in love, but is he gonna have the maturity to be like, or sometimes not even a maturity, just maybe scared, like, I don't want to run her off. I don't want her to think I look at her like this, that I need a prenup, but it's the smart thing to do.
Yeah, he was very smart. She just wasn't smart enough. Even if you don't bring it up, that don't mean get comfortable and go stupid. Don't get foolish. You still need to build with him. She has nothing built with him, correct?
Well, she was able to build her career. She's worth $3 million. I would imagine part of that has to do with he was paying all of the bills, right? If that was indeed the case, then she got to keep what she brought in the door and invested and put in her business and things of that nature. Now, yeah, it doesn't look like it. But here's the funny part about it. Here's the funny part, because Brandy brings up a good point. Is she wiser to take the $2 million and put that with the 3 she supposedly already have and be like, okay, good, I'm walking away 36-year-old with $5 million, right? Or do I want to fight it out in court where I might lose and I may owe the lawyer fees myself, or we drain this thing out for years and I just end up with $2 million anyways because the lawyers get all the rest, right? Like, what makes the most sense there? And you spend all of that emotional capital fighting for it when you can just be like, yo, all right, this is what it is. I'm gonna take this $2 million. I'm gonna keep it moving.
Well, Peter Paul said, try them all. I said, give me 5, I'll go.
What if he says 2 is it? 2 is it. I'll see you on court.
5. I'll shut up. Give me 5. Don't give me anything now. Come back.
2. That's it. 2. I stretched to go to 2.
Tell me, give me the hush money. I'll go away.
Give me 5. Yeah. I'm cool. But I will take the 2. If all else fails, I'll take the 2. But I would push it a little bit. Give me 5.
See, but here, let me just tell you this. Whenever you push, there's always a lever that they can push too. So he could be like, okay, well, I'm gonna countersue you because legally I have nothing, right? So I have nothing. You have $3 million. I want half of that.
What is child support?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go for us splitting the kids 50-50 physical custody, so no one gets child support. I also want half what you have, and I want you to pay me for being your husband. And now I need to get some money on a monthly basis in terms of alimony.
Give me the 2. Give me the 2.
I'm saying I just would want peace. I just be done.
So that's why I was
fucking with a kid anyway.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier. It's better to just stop squeezing. Just take what you can take and move on. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Jeff Bezos' wife took the stock option. She got to her alone. That's it. You know what I mean? And so that's enough. I mean, she has so much money, you can't even spend that in a lifetime. And the average person, what did you say globally? Wealth is what, $30,000? Girl, you got
no, that's just an annual income. That's put you in the top 1%.
Well, that's cool.
You got 5 million or 2 million or whatever. You can work with that. You know what I mean? But yeah, but when that legal system plays you for a fool, girl, I'm gonna go countersue if you walk away with nothing.
Well, I think that's the problem too. What people realize is these attorneys gas you up. Like, oh, you got a chance. You can do this. Let's start now. You can do it.
What would you tell her now?
Oh, I would say take the money and run. Put the emotions to the side. right? Because here's the thing. As much as there's a potential for you to win, there's a potential for you to lose. So if you lose, not only do you not get the $2 million, right? But then also you may either have to give up part of your $3 million net worth, either to pay for your own attorney fees, because oftentimes the plaintiff will go for that too, be like, and I want you to pay for your own attorney fees, and or they may say, yo, I want you to pay for my attorney fees, and or I want you to give me some of that money that we made in our marriage, that you still got, that I ain't got. Right? So that's the kind of thing that people, that's what I would tell clients, like, yo, it's important. I know it's emotional. I understand that. You got a lot invested. It was amazingly embarrassing. However, she's on social media. She has over 1 million followers. She has name recognition here in the United States. We would have never known of her before. So what can she do with that new notoriety to help turn the lemons into lemonade? Right? That's the kind of conversation I would have with her.
That's good.
How come couples don't go to financial counseling before they get married if the number one cause of divorce is financial arguments, but they always run into relationship counseling when they talk about premarital counseling? Why is that?
I'm open to that, actually.
Open to it, but would you suggest it before today?
I'll say this, I wouldn't, because I wasn't thinking like that. But, of course, talking more to you and to Brandy, the Joe Knows Money clan, I'm getting more education and knowledge. So yeah, note taken. I would definitely put that in my journal as a question that needs to be asked before, we actually tie the knot. Let's do this. Let's go to financial counseling. I totally agree with that.
So you understand and know how serious I am about you paying 100% of everything.
Right, exactly.
I want to make sure we all make clear.
You know what though? Seriously, that I used to meet with clients all the time where I would say the exact same thing she was saying to her husband, and he would listen to it coming from me, or I would say the exact same thing that he was saying to his wife, and she would listen because it's coming from me, because it's not all that baggage, right? They would ask me, like, what you think about this, what you think about that, and it's not choosing sides, it's picking what's the best strategy and what's not the best strategy. So yeah, that hour of time or however long it takes to have that counseling session, that is a time to put everything on the table and have a third-party objective person there to help you sort through it all. That's really the name of the game, and that's why I want to talk about, topics like this, because I think it's cool because it forces us to think about not only putting ourselves in other people's shoes, but it helps us think about things that we may not have encountered in life, but we see somebody else going through it, and we don't have to learn from our own mistakes. We can learn from theirs. And then I like to sprinkle a little bit of financial dust in it to be like, yo, you can do this, even if millions aren't at play, so you can protect yourself and make sure you're good as well. So anyway, so I thought those were some interesting hot topics that I wanted to talk with you about. Was there anything this week that I missed, or anything from our last conversation that you're like, yo, I want to talk about this again? I want to do over?
I'm excited for what's to come next.
It's a whole lot of good stuff too. I appreciate you all joining me for another episode of the Money Addicts. I appreciate my Money Addicts crew, and until next time, everybody.
Peace.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog, bitch.